So were you expecting some scary videos tonight? Oh, then you come to the right place. I mean, if anything, scary videos are norm here. Just I wouldn't dream of having it any other way. For sure, for sure. If I was to just go out on a really crazy limb here and just say, hey, these guys here, I want to watch a funny video on a scary video. You got scary videos because this guy's scary videos. Yay. Okay, I just need to take care of something real quick. Alright, so we got some scary videos today. A lot of fun. Now, as you may or may not know, if you were here on Wednesday, I did a special stream where I looked at the special Sir Spooks for 1 hour video of 25 creatures con tape. Had a brain block there for a second. And so I got a different Sir Spooks video to watch with our lineup tonight. So I'm not leaving him out. Okay. Alright, so for our first video, we have actually from Sir Spooks. I usually like to go in order from the videos that came out first to the more recent videos. So the one I got for Sir Spooks for this time around was dated back all the way March 27th. So let me put on my headphones, strap myself in, and let's go.
Hello everyone, my name is Sir Spooks, and today we'll take a look at 5 scary videos. As you probably know by now, I pretty much never do sponsored videos on this channel, but due to current events happening around the world, I thought it was about time I started accepting some offers once in a while. So I waited for the best opportunity and found the perfect sponsor for today's video, as they really seemed to care about what I thought and wanted from a sponsorship, which is something I very rarely experience. So therefore, today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow. So, with all that said, let's begin. On a Reddit post uploaded by Ramasaurus, the user explains that at the time of making this video he just graduated high school and says that everybody in his house is out at work for the day, and says his dog is at his grandmother's house and the uploader is home alone. Then he goes on to explain that he woke up from his sleep after hearing loud footsteps coming from his attic, which is when he began.
This microphone's starting to suck right now. Hold on here a second. Jesus. What is going on with my microphone? Hold on here a second. You guys should be able to hear me a lot better now. Alright, there we go. Alright, sorry about that.
video that you're about to see. Have a listen to this video and see what you think the noises sound like. It is possible that the sound could be coming from outside, close by, but it does certainly sound like it is coming from right above. As some of the commenters point out, the user could actually have somebody hiding in his attic without him knowing. The uploader has not posted any sort of follow-up, so whether or not this is something to worry about remains a mystery.
I'll buy it.
This next video comes to us from the well-known subreddit Ghosts. The video in question for today comes from user mgoodner0305, who goes on to explain that he documented a shadow apparition caught on camera and urges us to pay close attention to the wall next to the door across from the staircase. Take a look.
I see it. Now, given that it's coming from the same direction as the stairs, what's to say that it's not just someone at the top of the stairs running across there to create a shadow effect?
What could have possibly been in the house that day? Could this have been something as simple as a shadow from somebody else inside? Or was this a genuine shadow person caught on camera? Tell me your opinions in the comments.
Now, had the shadow been coming from this room and all that, then it would have a little bit more validity for me.
When you visit a Costco store in your local area, the last thing you would expect to happen is come in contact with a ghost. But in the case of this Mexican Costco, that is exactly what happened. Uploaded to the Ghost subreddit by Black Knight, the short 14-second clip features security camera footage filming what appears to be the parking lot of the Costco building late at night. All seems normal until you take a closer look at the area. Take a look and see if you notice anything.
Okay, he just vanished.
In case you missed it, towards the left section of the screen, you can see what appears to be a ghostly figure walking around the parking lot before vanishing entirely. What do you think this was? Was this an actual ghost roaming around late at night? Or is this something simple and non-paranormal? If one thing is for sure, it is definitely creepy.
The only thing I can think of is, that's not paranormal, is a camera overlay glitch. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, someone could have been walking down that path earlier in the day, and the camera just happened to pick up that image in an overlay glitch. And was playing it back.
Next up, we have an entry coming from my very own subreddit, Sir Spooks. On the subreddit, you can submit any and all paranormal or creepy footage for your chance to be featured in a video just like this one, posted by a user named The Ganja Boy. The video in question documents the events that are occurring within an abandoned office building one night. Throughout the clip, we follow a man who is walking around the building when suddenly he begins to hear strange noise. Have a listen.
Yeah, if I was hearing that, I would have turned right around.
For most people, hearing these noises coming from nearby would be enough to freak anybody out. Some of the comments on the clip question its authenticity by asking the uploader why he would move closer towards the noise. Was it just morbid curiosity, or is it just all a hoax? Be sure to tell me your...
I agree on that one. I'm leaning more towards hoax. But I will say the sudden jump scare reaction and that thing coming out of that closet did legit scare me. Mainly because there's some decent build up to it. As far as authentic, no, I call hoax.
Your thoughts?
A very well-made hoax, but a hoax nonetheless.
Jago Papa TV is a YouTube channel run by a man who uploads frequent content relating to all things horror. On his channel, you will be able to find paranormal investigations, abandoned building explorations, and more. In a video published by the owner on March 9th, 2020, he can be seen walking around late at night at a mysterious and haunted place known simply as the Murder House. With a name like that, one would expect some chilling things to occur, and they most definitely do. 9 minutes into the video, the man is investigating a disheveled bathroom and scanning for spirits and other entities. However, as the device begins to scan the area, something creepy begins to happen. Take a look.
Anything spirits here?
much else is known about this intrigue, but that's also what makes it all the more terrifying. What were these hooded figures that were chasing him out of the house? It seems as if only the channel owner may know the definite answer.
Wow, okay. A good one to end off on. Because now, it's one of those instances where it's not anything supernatural that's there, that's scary, but more like the living is is more times than not scarier than the spirit world.
And that was 5 scary videos. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then subscribe for more scary content. My name is Sir Spooks, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Whew. My God. That last one really creeped me out. That one got me good. Okay, so the next one we got is 5 ghost videos that will scare the heck out of you. I can't wait. Okay.
Top 5 ghosts caught on camera. A cry for help. The Foreman brothers, Josh, Sean, and Rocky from the YouTube channel Paranormal Nightmare were contacted by a mother and daughter who claimed to be living in a haunted apartment in Bucyrus, Ohio. The apartment has a dark history, as 2 women and a little girl tragically lost their lives inside its walls. 1 month after moving in, Heidi and Callie Prater begin to experience terrifying paranormal activity in their new home. Callie says that when she's upstairs, the strong smell of sulfur often makes her feel sick. She and her mother Heidi have heard footsteps and chilling screeches in the night. They say that lights turn on and off by themselves, and that they have seen multiple unexplained shadows.
There's times, like I said, you can hear people walking up and down the steps, but you can definitely hear certain screeches, certain noises.
Since we moved in here, we've had noises all the time upstairs, lights shut off, been touched, seen a lot of shadows.
Visitors to the house have had similar haunting experiences.
Ever since I've been coming over here, I get really bad negative vibes. Lights have turned off on their own, shadow figures walk through the rooms, and it's honestly kind of scary. We've heard the little girl call out mommy, and I never was a believer in this whole paranormal stuff until I moved out here and seen it with my own eyes.
I just really don't like being here.
Do you want to leave?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Heidi Prater explains in an interview with the Foreman brothers how it breaks her heart sometimes to hear the unexplained voice of a little girl calling out to her mother. In the same interview, they hear something truly chilling.
It breaks my heart, you know, to think this little girl, and you can hear her hollering for her mommy. Keep hearing somebody saying mommy. She is here, and she is looking for her mommy.
I thought I just heard somebody say mommy. Did you hear that?
Yeah. It breaks my heart that she's still here, wandering around looking for her mommy. It makes me want to cry.
After the emotional interview, the Foreman brothers begin their investigation to find out exactly who or what is haunting the Prater's home.
If you're in this house, can you communicate with us? Give us a sign you're in here. Can you come out here with us?
It's upstairs.
The mysterious sounds continue to be heard throughout their investigation, but nothing compares to what happens next.
The family that lives here say that they see shadows, hear footsteps, loud banging, the voice of a little girl. And this is the room that we were shooting the interviews earlier and heard the little girl yell, "Mommy." We believe that there, may have been victims in this room. Little girl.
Hear that kid screaming?
Can you talk louder?
Voice of a little girl seems to be desperately calling out for help.
Help me understand what happened the night of February 13th, 1994. Oh, no way.
God, I hope my audio is picking this up. Been in over probably 400 haunted locations, done hundreds of residential cases, and I have never in my life experienced something like this before, ever.
Could this be the ghost of the little girl that met her tragic end inside the house? Let me know what you think.
Wow. I'm with that, that older woman, man. That
Be sure to check out the full video over on the YouTube channel, Paranormal Nightmare TV series.
That was just pulling at my heartstrings. Real or not, man. When you're doing when you're doing a paranormal investigation and during the night you just keep hearing the voice of this little girl crying out for her mom, crying out for help, just it can get to you.
Meanwhile, on TikTok, TikTok user Pershka recorded a quick video intending to show her noisy ice machine on TikTok. But when she was about to post it, she noticed something truly chilling.
Okay. Tried to make a TikTok about my scary ice machine, but I get the ghost in my head. You get the jost in your house?
Did you see it? Right before she flips on the light switch, it looks like a little girl can be seen standing right next to the ice machine. But as the light turns on, no one there.
Oh my god.
Is it just a trick of the light? Or could it be a TikTok hoax? I leave it to you to decide. TikTok user Bitekill and his friends are exploring a creepy old abandoned tunnel. Then, this happens.
There's no one here. It's not a joke.
something we can hear closer.
It was coming in that direction, I tell you.
That wasn't right where you were at?
Pretty close. It came, seemed like something, almost like it moved. I could feel something moving. Move balls or something.
Oh, it was out weird. And it died down. And then it would get quiet and come back and get louder and louder. We're here, we sit here.
Yeah.
10 minutes listening to it.
Oh yeah.
If you're getting eaten or something.
The scary sound of screaming voices echo through the abandoned tunnel. Bike Kill says he has no idea what the voices could be and believes that the tunnel is haunted. But what do you think those sounds could have been? Another TikTok user that goes by the name of Julian R. Angel 925 claims that his coworker caught this next video on camera while at work. Did you see it? A dark shadow figure can be seen lurking in the corner of what looks to be a large banquet hall. Now, like most TikTok clips, there is no extra information about where this was filmed or what happened next. So is it real, or is it just another TikTok hoax? What do you think? Chernobyl. Ukrainian YouTuber Vlad Reznov and his friends do a challenge for YouTube to spend the night in an abandoned village in the Chernobyl exclusion zone. Now, the exclusion zone's purpose is to restrict access to hazardous areas around the dangerous Chernobyl nuclear power plant. In recent years, this area has spiked the interest of tourists and has been accessible for safe tours and explorations with Ukrainian tour operators. However, individual parties are still prohibited to access the area and can receive severe criminal penalties and fines. Because Vlad Reznov and his friends want to explore at night, they are very careful to avoid Ukrainian authorities.
Надеюсь, мы доживем до утра, но потому что реально очень страшно. Там что-то шарудит, что-то бегает, что-то мычит. Я не знаю, я продолжу съемку, когда мы найдем какой-то домик, чтобы переждать хотя бы какое-то время.
First, they explore the abandoned village, and then they decide to get some sleep in one of the old decaying buildings. But they don't sleep long. Vlad wakes up to bizarre sounds coming from the remote woods surrounding the building.
Чё, блин? Ребята, только что, короче, ветка упала, я подумал, что что-то ладно. Вы это слышали? Что-то шурудило. Нет, там что-то лазит по-любому. Я один туда не пойду. Ну, походу, где-то там. Я вижу там. Твою ж мать, блин, что это было? Пацаны, подъем! Пацаны, подъем, блин! Чувак, там что-то лазит. Я где-то еще на улице что лазит.
Ветку упал, я слышу.
Я не знаю, там что лазит.
Сам сказал, ветку упал, что будет?
Чувак, я видел что-то, я тебе отвечаю, я снял это на видео.
Ну ты слышал, как лес гудит, что ты гонишь, блин?
Пацан, я снял это на видео, ведь это серьезно.
Это что, на мой пранк, ответ?
Там какой пранк, чувак, я тебе отвечаю, я там что-то видел.
Ну где ты видел?
Там, ну там в конце, где-то в углу.
Дай там?
Вот там сидел, вот там.
Ну где там есть?
Вот там где-то, вот сюда, вот как раз сюда побежал.
Ну нет там ничего.
Чувак, я там что-то видел, я тебе отвечаю. Я там спать не буду.
Будешь, потому что нам завтра вставать.
Чувак, блин. Ты понимаешь, что там что-то было, я тебе отвечаю. Я не шучу. Пиздец, он мне просто не верит, реально, я не знаю. Я это видео дома пересмотрю, потому что я реально что-то видел.
Не видел и не видел.
Чувак, я видел. Пиздец. Я тебе отвечаю, если у нас ночью судьба, это твоя вина.
Я дома, когда в туалет ходил, вот такую крысу видел.
Это не крыса была.
А кто? Либо животное.
Блин, он был здоровый, похожий человека.
Now, I can't really make out anything in the video here, but Vlad seems to be very spooked by something he saw out in the woods.
I saw it. It was like a big hood.
On camera. Terrified, he wakes up his friend, but his fellow explorer just thinks that Vlad is playing a prank. But then, this happened.
Тихо, тихо, слушай.
Это тут. Он в сарае, что ли? Нет? Тихо. Держи быстрее. Так куда дверь? Дверь закрой. Закрой дверь.
A pale figure can be seen at the window, giving Vlad and his friends the scare of their life. They decide to skip their plans to stay the night and just get out of there. Vlad seems to think that they were attacked by a Chernobyl mutant man. But what do you think? Could this be the ghost of someone who didn't survive the Chernobyl tragedy and is still haunting the premises? Or is it simply a really pale man trying to give them a good scare? You decide.
I think it's that one. Just some crazy nut giving them a scare.
Back in the early 1900s, Clarence Curtis McCorsley built a beautiful Victorian home in Little River, South Carolina for him and his wife, Essie. Unfortunately, Clarence met an untimely death at the age of 40. Left all alone, the widowed Essie transformed her home into a bed and breakfast for traveling salesmen and fishermen to spend the night. There were rumors that Essie was often visited by the ghost of her late husband. The Brentwood house remained in Essie's possession until her death in 1974. Today, the Brentwood home is owned by French master chef Eric Masson and his wife Kim. They reopened the estate as the Brentwood Restaurant and Wine Bistro. The skeptical new owners never really believed in the paranormal.
I'm always looking for validation because it's just so hard to believe that this stuff happens, and it's hard to believe that it's a ghost.
It really didn't fit in my logic.
That is, until strange things started happening around their restaurant. The Massons would hear the mysterious loud sighs of a woman when no one was around. Glasses and silverware would fall without explanation. Even stranger, guests of the restaurant would be locked in the bathroom by something, and devices would suddenly turn on by themselves. Many of the restaurant employees have witnessed paranormal activity, and even some of the customers have scary stories of their own. Many claim to have seen a tall, dark figure in shadowy corners of the restaurant. It is believed that the ghosts of Clarence and Essie McCorsley still haunt the Brentwood restaurant. Author Stephen Lancaster has taken a particular interest in the haunting of the Brentwood Wine Bistro. Over the years, he has interviewed witnesses to hear their bizarre stories and has done many investigations to find paranormal evidence. Late one night, Stephen and a small team of paranormal investigators are checking out the restaurant. Right after they begin filming, they hear a loud bang coming from the kitchen.
Oh my God! Did you just see that? Holy Hey! How are you tonight? Holy cow, I think my heart just skipped like 50 beats.
The restaurant surveillance footage shows a glass mysteriously falling on the floor as investigators Eddie and Tina enter the kitchen. Although startled by the chilling experience, they continue their investigation.
The downstairs men's room. We have some issues with this room tonight. The door is wanting to open on its own even though it's latched shut. Can you open that door for me? Be really, really cool if you could open that door.
The strange activity doesn't stop as random things continue to mysteriously fall on the floor, and the restaurant's dumbwaiter starts moving up and down on its own. Then, things get truly bizarre.
So is there anybody up here that wants to say hello? Make their presence known to us?
You know what, I really would love to see the tall guy tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the tall guy here. That's them.
So is there any anybody up here that wants to say hello? Make their presence known to us?
You know what? I really would love to see the tall guy tonight.
Yeah, is the tall guy here? That's them. Do you hear a whirling noise?
That's me.
I'm looking, I'm not seeing anything.
The mysterious figure of a man wearing a fisherman's slicker or pea coat seems to be quietly moving in the background as they talk. Stephen Lancaster didn't notice the strange apparition at the time and only discovered it later when he reviewed the footage. So, did Stephen and the team of paranormal investigators capture the ghosts of Clarence and Essie McCorsley, forever haunting their old home? You decide. Watch Stephen Lancaster's full documentary investigation of the Brentwood Wine Bistro over on his YouTube channel.
Nuke's top 5, man. He's delivering the goods, even with this whole pandemic and all that. There are people still going out there and doing videos like this.
13. Hiding in plain sight. One day, Facebook user Abiud Hernandez Alvarez is sitting at his computer when he starts to hear strange, unexplained sounds coming from his bedroom. He grabs his phone and starts recording.
Pues está abierta. Pues este lado igual, el baño está abierto. Ahí está tocando la puerta.
No one at the door, and after a few other strange occurrences, Abiud begins to suspect that there might be something paranormal going on in his apartment. To try to collect proof to show his family and friends, he sets up a camera to record his home while he's at work. When he checks the video, he's shocked by what he finds.
I'm shocked too. Who puts wind chimes in their home?
It's almost as if someone or something invisible is walking through Abiud's apartment. Cut to days later. As Abiud is relaxing at home late one night, things get truly bizarre.
Ahí está, ya se está escuchando. Sí se escucha de todas formas, ahí está. Me asusta un poquito ahora sí, porque ahorita se escucha aquí adentro. Se escucha como la chamba, pero pues a ver, voy a levantarme.
Facebook with the message that he doesn't actually mind the creepy activity. He says that he just wants to share his experiences. So, is Abiud's apartment haunted by an invisible ghost? Or is it all just an elaborate hoax? You decide. Thanks for watching. You can suggest any video you've seen.
Wow, I don't know, guys. That one's too bizarre for me. Okay. Next up, we got 5 scary videos that'll make you scream. Ooh. And it's from my boy Chills.
These videos are so scary, they'll make you want to scream. Good luck proving you wrong. Number 5. Jody Dean, aka Hunting the Dead, has been a paranormal investigator since 2010. He explores practically any haunted location he can find, regardless of the risk to his health and sanity. March 30th, 2020 is when he revisits this haunted house in his hometown of Aripika, Florida. It only takes 3 minutes and 5 seconds for paranormal activity to begin.
God, it feels so good to be filming again. I really miss this. Pretty simple here. We just have a nice little paranormal potty.
In the mirror, a shadow figure passes by. That's not his reflection. You can even see Jody's arm in front of it. It happens too fast for him to notice, so he continues deeper inside. Later, he senses something near and he turns around.
Exactly why I do this.
Dude, I just seen it.
He sees it, a shadow passing across the doorway, a fast-moving shadow at that. Little footsteps, if you ask me.
Hello?
He follows them and senses something watching him.
1 second, guys. You are seeing shadows. Here, you want to get under the covers? Here, I'll help you out. See that? There you go. Nice and tucked in. That's what, that way it's not so cold in here for you. Okay? I love you. Alright. I take care of my baby for a second there. Well, I guess now I should say toddler, but yeah, you get the idea.
The whole hallway looks blurry, like someone standing in front of him.
Hello? Dude, it sounds like there's rummaging, like a physical being being is in here rummaging. And it's crazy because it sounds like it's just feet in front of me here. And what are
And when he raises his voice, it runs out of the door much like a scared child. Within a few minutes, it's back inside of the house, bound here forever, I suppose, and Jody subconsciously walks back to the bathroom where the first shadow image is seen.
Were you trying to get my attention? You got it, I seen you.
But before he gets a chance to help the girl, a dark physical force fills the room as the dark spirit box announces a single word.
Something's touched me on my arm.
I think something happened to this poor little girl at the hands of her father, and now she can't escape the room it happened in. And that's when Dad confirms his presence.
Was that you?
Unlike Jody, who is filled with fear and passion, this man's voice is uncaring and cold, so when he's not checking out haunted houses like this one, this YouTuber likes to bring the spirit world to his own home however he can, primarily through a collection of possessed dolls. Ellie and Nessie are the two most eager to communicate. Look what happens when he lights a candle here. Nessie levitates and there's absolutely no strings to be seen against the black television backdrop. Ellie, meanwhile, has been known to smile on her own, though the video is grainy, so editing is not out of the question.
Looks like she's smiling, going straight, smiling, going straight. Yeah, she is.
But it's when Ellie and Nessie are together that they seem the most powerful and able to communicate. They have no problem manipulating the electromagnetic reader to their will.
You guys want to do some spirit box with me? Do you see the interaction there?
They respond to their names without hesitation.
Ellie.
And the lights seem to appropriately gauge how strongly they feel about each question. Here's what they think about him moving to a new address.
Are you sad that I am going to be moving from here? You are sad. Whoa.
Believe it or not, Ellie and Nessie aren't even the scariest dolls in his forbidden collection. Just 2 days after Nessie says the word demon, Jody purposefully angers a different doll into doing this.
I said make your eyes blink. Blink your eyes. Blink them.
I don't see any way to fake this, but maybe I'm missing something. Is there any way that they could make this doll's eyes close that you can tell? Even if they had a hole in the table and we're running the doll's head through it, I still don't see how this would work. Number 4. Hype Mike has gotten into some crazy adventures in the past, but staying at this abandoned factory until 3 a.m. is probably one of the wildest yet. Outside, he finds a collection of what could be someone's belongings out in the forest, but decides to continue anyway. As soon as he puts his camera down to climb inside, he hears this noise. Which I think sounds like a door being slammed as hard as possible. When he finally comes across an entrance, he finds the door has been kicked hard many times. Like somebody leaves this way every day, though to be honest, the footprints look to be about his shoe size, so maybe it was him. On the floor, dried red stains, and a massive red streak across the wall that I think is paint, or at least I hope so.
Yeah, me
and that's
too.
when he hears it again, the same sound as before. Someone's kicking doors open. Do they know he's here? Soon he comes across more red stains, but I think it's almost definitely paint considering the red wall has a similar streak on it as well. He's exploring various old burned out rooms. When it comes back, the same noise as before.
What was that? That was loud as
Two bangs coming from opposite sides. He must be surrounded. The fact that Hype Mike is not taking off by now makes me think this almost has to be fake, and this explanation is really unlikely.
What the f*** that was? Maybe it was like a bird or something.
But just when I started to doubt this video, this really strange sound plays. This doesn't sound like the wind to me, especially how it ends. But tell me what you think it is and if it's paranormal.
What the f***?
Hype Mike makes it to nightfall without hearing any further noises. Maybe it's gone for now, whatever it is. He's trying to figure out a place to get some rest and wait out the rest of the challenge, but that's when the noises start again.
Something just moved in there. Hello?
The room where it came from is completely empty, but the complex is still occupied by something that has been waiting for the right time to strike, and that time is now. Hype Mike runs out of there fast, but makes the mistake of taking one last look. Do you think this is one of his friends or a person who's lost their mind? Number 3.
Go to one. Sorry that the whole time my face was kind of like, yeah, go on.
Three. I'm going to take you to one of the most haunted places in the world. Some people call it the Arnold Estate, but you probably know it as the Conjuring House. Yeah, that one. This 1700s farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island, is where the ill-fated...
Hold on. That's better.
Perron family lasted from January of 1971 until June of 1980. During this time, items would go missing, and small piles of dirt would show up whenever they cleaned the kitchen floor. Soon they were visited by spirits who smelled of rotting and could possess them at will. That's because it was less of a farmhouse and more of a portal to the underworld. A sorceress named Bathsheba Sherman is said to have practiced arcane magic here, possibly even sacrificing her own kin to better forge a connection with the underworld. People have lost their lives all over the property. Kids floating in a creek and swinging in the attic too. Now it's a place for only the bravest of ghost hunters to go. Jennifer and Marcel of J&M Explorations want to put their skills and equipment to the test. On March 18th of 2020, they team up with some friends for safety in numbers and prepare to explore it, the real Conjuring House. They want to see something crazy, so they waste little time heading straight into the basement, the same place where father and husband Roger Perron used to feel a sinking presence behind him whenever he had to come down here to fix the heating equipment, which mysteriously failed many times. The deeper they go, the more they are filled with dread. I don't think it's just them down here, and this is why.
Oh my god, it's just the creepiest.
Something guides them to a piece of old wooden furniture in the far corner that just so happens to have a kid's drawing on it. Andrea thinks this could be a person with a crooked neck in her words, and I see what she means. If it's not that, then maybe it's someone floating in the creek. As she's exploring what it could be, a small face with large black eyes looks at her from behind. At least that's what some people claim to see. Roger always thought he felt something behind him. The old barn is next. This part is of particular interest.
This is that old sort of.
I'm pretty sure Marcel is right by her, so it's not him. And here's another voice they catch in the bedroom. This one's not in the mood to sing.
Make a noise, but you gotta make it close. Make the noise in here with us. Can you knock on the wall? What the?
Its voice drips with hatred, and soon thereafter a foul smell washes over Jennifer, the same one who moments earlier was asking for a sign. Well, I think she's got one and don't think she's faking.
That smells coming back. You can taste it. I don't like that at all. I'm not gonna drink.
Go ahead.
Alright,
I'll stay up here.
yeah.
She smells the rotting, in my opinion, a stench coming from the door. Watch her reaction when she tries to leave.
Oh my god.
Just then, their friends enter to talk about their experience while using a Ouija board downstairs. They spelt out a demonic name, and just the mention of it registers on their equipment.
The smell is when something evil, demonic is around you. When we were downstairs playing the Ouija board with the Beelzebub, and then they started smelling the smell up here. You see what I'm saying?
The meter's going on.
And while paranormal equipment is designed to withstand electromagnetic interference, normal cameras are not.
Wait a minute, were those the ones that were on that table right over here?
The screen turned off without him anywhere near it. A final truly bizarre moment happens when they head down to the dining room and see this hanging decoration is spinning. Soon another one is moving, this time side to side instead of in circles. Here's the same room taken towards the beginning of the video. The camera is not steady, but it's steady enough to tell that these objects are not spinning. It could be far from a vent or a draft, but I don't think so. These dried flowers are meant specifically to keep spirits away. Moving the flowers could be a message from the spirits that this isn't enough to stop them, as one of the ghost hunters points out. So you can say what you want about the movies, but the location it's based on is definitely not someplace you'd want to spend the night at. J&M Explorations experience the same type of early situations
I got creeped out just watching this explanation.
Years of living here.
Just watching clips of this investigation.
I guess the house likes to take its time. Oh, and then there's this doll who goes from waving hello at 13 minutes and 47 seconds to asking for a hug at 34 minutes and 39 seconds. So I guess Annabelle isn't the only one with possession problems. Number 2.
Let's not forget Raggedy Andy right there.
Meat sleep that appeared to center around.
Sorry, I should have paused it first. Said, let's not forget to mention Raggedy Andy there.
Selecting and capturing people of random choosing. The work of someone documenting their own mental psychosis firsthand and putting it online for all to see. Some videos silently watch people from afar as they go about their daily routines, like this woman walking by herself in a lake. When she gets out of view, the cameraman stands up for a better look, completely fixated on her, camouflaged by vegetation. He feels bold and creeps closer. She gives no indication of knowing or consenting to being filmed in this way. Never does she look back at the man staring at her, and I don't know what became of her. Other videos are simply outside of someone's window, presumably waiting for a glimpse of their latest obsession. One creepy video is taken in a subway. You can see the target briefly, a person with short dark hair, and there's slowed down audio too. The whole time I thought this was the work of one person, but at double the speed this sounds like a conversation between 3 people plotting to enter someone's home.
We're coming to the house. We're going to the bathroom into the same closet 3 times.
The rest of this video takes place in a dirty basement room. Could this be where their victims are eventually taken? It's a downstairs dwelling that shows up time and time again in many videos, a place that gives off a strange and gruesome vibe, and this black body bag looks far from empty. Another video shows the basement room from the top of the steps while someone wails below. I feel like this could be a network of human collectors organizing a red room, which, for those of you who don't know, is a live stream of someone being brutalized by people paying money to decide what happens next. One video titled, "She's a Keeper," is the outline of a person who perhaps has rotted into the floor. I think her screams are being played over it too. It's hard for me to listen because it's so realistic to me. But what do you think? Is this real or fake? A single chair sits in the middle of the room. Maybe the whole channel is an advertisement for an organization shrouded in secrecy. One video titled "Commencement" is total darkness and silence until this happens. Look at the writing on this door. The letters look carefully arranged in a grid-like pattern. Is this random graffiti or a secret puzzle spelling out the date and time of their next show? This organization appears to delight in taking apart families. No one appears to be safe. Not even children are safe. A home video shows a child with blonde hair on the porch. In a different video, she's spinning around as if being inspected by an adult who they don't trust. She looks taller, older, perhaps held captive for years, but I can still make out the same short blonde hair. And this adult woman, possibly the mother or grandmother, closely resembles the woman whose picture they openly mock in a different video. So perhaps she is another one who has been captured as well. All of this evidence is starting to make me sick, so I'm going to cut to the chase, a final video that makes me suspect this could actually be a collection of vampiric humanoid creatures. First, their name is spelt out letter by letter, Sewnkin, Sownkin. Then the camera turns around to partially reveal a ghoulish black-eyed face. Now that's enough to make me scream. I've got a challenge for you. Since you've made it this far, why not like this video and hit subscribe in the next 5 seconds? Because I upload 4 new scary videos every week. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. Number 1. This creepy kid show is called Mushroom Land, and it was apparently broadcast somewhere in Poland decades ago. At first glance, it seems like a fairly innocent program, until you pay attention to what they're actually saying, and start to piece together what this material was probably really used for. We follow a girl named Agatha as she learns more about this magical world of Mushroom Land. The first episode is called Smile Guide, and I feel like there's subliminal messages the whole time, to the point where I had to take breaks while watching, like here at 3 minutes and 16 seconds, where it sounds like someone crying in reverse is being played over hypnotic piano notes. The red figure is named Toyfell, her smile guide, and the way they smile at each other at 3 minutes and 28 seconds is unsettling, if not demonic. Toyfell is constantly by her side, getting her attention and distracting her while she tries to cut an apple. This is supposed to be some kind of instructional episode about how to slice an apple, but she seems to be teaching kids to do it all wrong and gets really close to slicing her fingers here instead. The next part.
This is supposed to be a kids show?
made me feel slightly lightheaded. A creepy deep voice, no doubt laced with more subliminal messages, tells us that Mushroom Land is a beautiful meadow that will bestow misery upon all who enter. To which Agatha seems to transform into something completely evil looking. Shoulders low as she tells us not to listen. Skip to episode 4, and she is opening mail from other kids who send her their hair, which is something people sometimes do after they take kids captive to prove they really have them. This is also where we meet someone known only as the Jeans Man, an adult who dances with the kids and appears to groom them when their nails and hair grow too long, presumably after being under his watch for a long period of time. How he gets them is never made clear, but some of the letters are from the families of other kids who could have possibly been taken. One of them mentions the 8th anniversary of their passing on. Another note says that someone's niece isn't breathing. By episode 5, Agatha is being prodded awake with a stick, furthering the theory that she's being held against her will. And she's wearing lipstick now, perhaps put on her by the Jeans Man. I think she's being allowed to call her mother here, but the stress of being in captivity leaves her unable to talk, and she disassociates from reality. Toyfell appears again and tells her he's taking her on a field trip, presumably to the meadows, but first she has to do something she really doesn't want to do if she ever wants to get there. Something about these pictures looks a little too real, almost like they're still photos of a real girl screaming. The eyes might also double as a blindfold. Maybe the Jeans Man is a real person who forced her to make this show as a tribute to all of his previous acts. As for what Mushroom Land means, I think it's a clever way of saying underground. Creepy when you think about it. As for Toyfell, he could have been a way to introduce the underworld to kids in a fun way that they wouldn't understand until it's too late. This was before the internet, so a kids show would have been the perfect way to do something like this. At any rate, Toyfell seems to be invading Agatha's mind and trying to be cute about it the entire time. Someone could watch this and not even know the underlying meaning. This is a show starring a small impish figure who seems bent on instructing harm. If this series is real, then it seems history is repeating itself. People have sadly been making dangerous instructional videos for many years now.
These scary videos might be...
I am uncomfortable after that last one. Oh, I'm very uncomfortable after that last one. Alright guys, we're moving on to top 15 scary videos that'll keep you awake tonight. I need a little bit of a break first. Just to compose myself. Just a little bit.
Number 15, Man at Your Door. It's always unnerving when a complete stranger shows up on your doorstep, but even more so when it's someone acting like this guy. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Miss Doolittle Text, the Redditor explains that this man showed up on her doorstep and just stood there, not ringing the doorbell. The video shows exactly that. He walks slowly and haphazardly to the door, carrying some plastic bags. Then he just stands there for a moment, appearing to be listening at her door, before turning around and heading back up the sidewalk. He isn't wearing a mask, and as the Redditor says, left as soon as her dogs started barking, but not for long. He is seen on another security camera, walking along some grass behind the houses. He simply strolls along the water and then disappears, but moments later is seen racing back, jumping fences along the way. Apparently someone had also trespassed on her neighbor's property the previous night. It's unclear what he did there, how long he stayed, or what or who he's fleeing from, but the Redditor didn't want to find out what his plans were. She called the authorities. This man doesn't appear to be in his right mind. Whatever this man's situation, most agree calling the authorities was the right thing to do. Number 14, nightmare sound. If you heard an unexplainable spine-tingling sound, would you have the guts to go investigate? Published to YouTube by Jared McLean in February of 2019. He explains that he heard this terrifying noise outside at 2 in the morning. He said that the sound started out of nowhere and reminded him of a scary movie sound.
Her shadow just scared the hell out of me. I don't know why.
Soundtrack. The noise seemed to be occurring a few blocks away, so he went to get dressed and drove over there to investigate, but the minute he went to leave, the sound ceased. Jared said he wondered if it was paranormal or some natural phenomenon. He asked for his fellow YouTubers to chime in with their theories. Some suggest it sounds like a badly tuned orchestra. Others say someone must have set off every car alarm at once. Still others believe it could be a train's brakes being applied on a nearby railroad track. And even more claim that they've heard the same sound themselves. Nash TV guy put in his own 2 cents right.
That's not.
There are a ton of.
That's not train brakes.
Reports from all over the world of these strange sounds, with suggestions ranging from underground bases and drilling. What they all have in common is they're scary. At least we can all agree on that much. Any clue as to what this sound could be? Number 13, Japanese ghost town. Abandoned ruins in the middle of a Japanese forest. Nothing can go wrong, right? Published to YouTube in March of 2020 by Channel Gorumbo. This video reveals that everything about this is wrong. In the video, someone is exploring what assumedly is an abandoned building in Japan. In the middle of the forest with much overgrowth and foliage, the building looks as though it's been derelict for quite some time. As the adventurer wanders through the deserted place, he scans the area, with its steps, open windows, and doorways. At one point when he does this, you can
I saw it.
See a figure appear briefly in the empty space where a door should be. In the split second between when the camera pans past the doorway with nothing, something bulky and unsettling is posted up in that doorway. When it pans back, it returns quickly back to the doorway, but that something is gone entirely. Even slowed down, it's unclear what the figure is, but it is unmistakably there in solid form.
I know what it looks like. It's some kind of a figure holding their decapitated head.
Do you have any idea what this could be?
See? That's the head right there. And you have the blood from where the head was. It's not holding it up. I doubt this is real, but it was a good scare. It was definitely a good scare.
All I know is I wouldn't stay there long enough to find out. Number 12. The switch. What if you were watching the news and the color of an item changed without any explanation? This isn't just a hypothetical. This actually happened on Sky News, a British free-to-air news channel, posted to Twitter by Matthew Paul. He writes,
What?
Can Sky News explain this? Watch the folder. Mind blown. He's not exaggerating. The news clip is simple enough. It shows a man walking out of a building, presumably after a meeting, holding a red folder under one arm. He walks astride another man, and their bottom halves disappear for a moment behind a parked car. When he reappears on the other side, suddenly his red folder is bright green. What in the what? Well, some in the comments are quick to presume a glitch in the Matrix. Aside from editing, is there any other explanation as to what's going on here? If there is, we're all ears, because I'm stumped on this one. Number 11.
I have no idea.
Weird water. Time to brush your teeth. Published to YouTube by Talal Essa in April of 2017. You'll probably be triple checking your tab before you do that after watching this video. Asking why does black water come out of the tap? Talal demonstrates this unsettling happening, letting his tap run with inky, blackish brown water
Really? Just you didn't edit that out. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry. What the hell? Icky brackish.
Letting his tap run with inky, blackish brown water emitting from the faucet. The color does not dilute at all in the entire minute that he leaves it running. Is this toxic water? Probably not. Many in the comments offer suggestions for what's likely going on, with YouTuber Jack Jommin suggesting the color is likely due to heavy metal buildup, he says. Nick Bradford in Rumble Lane went another way though. Bradford asks, do you have a well and live next to a cemetery? Well, Rumble Lane simply states, there's a demon in your faucet. Certainly looks like it.
Yeah, that's the first explanation you come to. It's a demon in your faucet.
Hey, love. What you doing? Hi. Hi. I know, I'm looking.
Number 10. Swallowed by pavement. Imagine walking down the street when this happens. Published to YouTube by The Telegraph in April of 2012, this CCTV footage captured everyone's worst nightmare. The clip shows a girl walking down a sidewalk with not a care in the world when suddenly a sinkhole unexpectedly opens up beneath her. The girl falls through the pavement as a section of sidewalk caves in, creating an almost perfectly circular hole. Luckily, in that moment, a hero cab driver was driving past. Mobile phones and CCTV captured his rescue as he stopped on the side of the road and raced over to the pit. A couple other bystanders also approached to see what was up. Examining the pit for a moment, the cab driver did not hesitate to climb down to save her, and more people gathered round. The pit was about 20 feet deep. Firefighters arrived at the scene and sent a ladder down into the pit. The hero cab driver said the ladder was flimsy and the girl was crying out in fear, but he encouraged her to climb. To reassure her, he told her he'd be right behind her. Fortunately, they both made it out alive. Not many would have done what this cab driver did. Give that man a medal. And also watch where you step. Number 9. Kitchen
It's
ghost.
sad.
When you have video proof from not one,
I'm just glad nothing happened to her.
but 3 angles It's hard for paranormal deniers to say it's all in your head. Posted by one Ocelot4 to the Ghosts subreddit. The Redditor caught this strange shadow in his kitchen on a security camera. He said the window shutters were down and nothing in the kitchen was turned on. He also mentioned in the comments that he sometimes feels cold spots in the hallway and his security camera often goes off when he leaves the house. Whether you believe in the paranormal or not, the following footage is hard to explain. The clip shows a large, dark shadow flash past, falling over the kitchen entryway for just a moment. Not only has the uploader captured this footage from one vantage point, but he has all 3 cameras on it, and they all show the creepy shadow flicker past. What in the world could be creating this terrifying effect? Those in the comments have plenty of theories. Redditor Mr. Mesquite says it's obviously a ghost writing. Very harmless unless you are harmed.
That's nice thing.
Could you go lay back down with mommy?
Good luck. Well, many note that it could be something casting the shadow from outside through the windows. The Redditor reiterates that the shades are closed. So who do you choose to believe? Is there a practical explanation? Or should this Redditor bring in a medium and scope out the situation? As another Redditor suggests, whatever happens, I don't think I'd be entering that kitchen for a while.
Alright. I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna try to get my little girl a bottle and try to get her back to sleep. But I will be right back.
Okay, we're good. Alright, we're continuing where you left off. Number 8.
Number 8, ghost in the hallway. Sometimes you can just sense evil in places, sometimes in your very own home. Posted in the very spooky video subreddit by Big Daddy Marco, the Redditor writes that he is quarantined in a haunted house. Originally published to YouTube by Donnie Drunkard, he writes, since being in quarantine, the paranormal and haunted activity has manifested in poltergeist activity on an almost daily basis. I believe the entity is demonic in nature. Terry explains that this is an update
or a very fabulous dancer
and recap of footage caught on his live stream. He also says that he thinks there's more than one spirit in his home. Using a paranormal tool that captures movement, the recap shows that something is indeed present in the hallway, and its presence is made known on more than one occasion. The kinetic image appears. In the last clip, he tells the thing to leave, and after a moment it does as he commands.
Trespass against us. I'm shaking so badly now, man.
It disappears from the monitor. Some in the comments suggest that Terry get a demonologist into his home to take this thing on. What would you do if you sensed, heard, and saw a demonic spirit in your home? Would you stay or would you go? Number 7, Living Doll. This clip was posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Scream Aim and Fire. When you're home alone and you start catching things moving out of the corner of your eye, you may begin to wonder whether you're really alone after all. Scream explains that, days before, she had noticed a bell hanging from the ceiling move slightly, but there was no breeze, and nothing else hanging in the room was moving. Thereafter, when she was home alone, she started to hear things, like people pacing the hallways. She turned on her camera after hearing something fall in the home, as she was determined to go and investigate. The Redditor notes that later, after rewatching the video, a couple orbs flew by. Even scarier, she writes, I think I saw my mother-in-law's doll move too. Watch the video closely, and you'll see exactly what she's talking about. As she walks into her mother-in-law's room, the doll sitting on a chair against the back wall does appear to move its head ever so slightly. While the orbs captured throughout the video could very well be dust, it's hard to explain the doll's inexplicable movement. Does the Redditor have a Chucky situation on her hands? If so, she'd better flee before the gloves come off. Number 6. Gamer Ghost. It's not fun in games anymore when something like this happens. Posted to the very spooky video subreddit by AdamGray59, the Redditor is wondering if this is poltergeist activity. In the video, some gamers are playing Call of Duty, and the gamer on screen appears to have gone for a bathroom or snack break. His chair is empty, or maybe it isn't. The chair starts swiveling quietly around. Of course, this unnerves the player on the opposite side of the screen. Is a ghost occupying this chair? Redditor Tommy MCY in the comments says, it's a gamer ghost, while others are more skeptical, saying things like chairs simply do that on their own. So, gamer ghosts are just an off-kilter chair. I'd like to think a ghost was at the controls. Number 5. Time of passing. Can a
chairs just do that, huh? Mine isn't. Even when I give it some force, it doesn't move nearly as... Why can't my chair just do that, huh?
The person passing away stopped the clocks. This video posted by Monk87X to the Ghosts subreddit.
This one from last week.
Calls that into question. Monk explains in the comments that his partner was working the night shift at the hospital when a patient passed at 3:11 a.m. Porters arrived to transport the body. Around 45 minutes later, not long after, a nurse was logging the passing in the computer when she observed a clock's hand spinning rapidly. The passing was logged into the computer at 4:10 a.m. and a minute later the clock stopped spinning at 4:11 a.m., exactly an hour after the man's passing. While Monk admits to ordinarily being a skeptic, his partner's reaction to what happened, as well as everyone else's in the ward, convinced him that this was no practical joke. This was real. All who paid witness to the odd timing were shaken up over it, being that the clock is analog and not digital. Monk suggests it's strange that the clock stopped on the exact right time of day after going berserk. He also believes that the whole thing was paranormal, being that the clock's actions coincided with the passing of the patient and the processes surrounding it. What do you think? Coincidence or not? The people of Reddit are on both sides of the fence. Either way, the timing couldn't have been creepier. Number 4. Over your shoulder.
Wow, that timing's
Do you
just
choreograph TikTok dances?
creepy.
If so, you'd better skip this one. Published to YouTube by Unknown Barbados in April of 2020.
Yeah, I saw it.
This video will have you checking over your shoulder the next time you gear up to press record. The video shows a woman dancing outside a brick building with a darkened hallway behind her. As she dances like nobody's watching, unbeknownst to her, someone is. Look over her shoulder as she does her moves. This woman is not alone. Someone with long dark hair and a pale face that's unusually blurred peers from behind her for a split second before vanishing back into the shadows. A nightmare spectator if I ever saw one. What would you do if you saw this in one of your TikTok posts? Probably would be the end of your TikToking career. Number 3. Unexplained orbs. While some orbs do indeed appear like nothing but floating dust, others act more strangely. Published to YouTube by Ryan Blake in April 2020, he writes, "Caught this on our night vision camera at about 4 a.m. This is a very used basement, and there really isn't any dust down there, since my wife and I keep it very clean. Don't know what to make of it really." The series of videos shows orbs on several occasions sweeping past the camera. The first one flies from the upper left corner down to the bottom right. The second up the right side of the screen. The third briefly appears after the YouTuber shuts the door at the end of the hallway to go to bed. And the fourth flies up to the right and then back down again, returning to the bottom left corner. Is this a case of bugs, dust, or other explainable events? Or could this be a spirit channeling these homeowners, attempting to be made known? If only we could ask the orbs what their motive is. Number 2. Lemp Mansion. History is bound to affect the aura of some places. Particularly history is chilling as Lemp Mansions. Posted to the Ghosts subreddit by Baked Potato, the Redditor writes, "This video was taken off my friend's old phone when she visited the Lemp Mansion years ago. Before we analyze the clip, you'll need to know a little background on Lemp Mansion. The historical house in St. Louis, Missouri, was the home of the Lemp family in the early 20th century. 3 of the Lemps would go on to take their own lives in the family home. The only surviving Lemp was Edwin, who lived until the age of 90. He did not live in the Lemp family home, however. He moved to his own estate later on. Needless to say, with all these horrific and sad occurrings in Lemp Mansion, some believe it's haunted by spirits. It's now a restaurant and inn that offers haunted and historical tours, and also hosts Halloween parties and dinner theater. Perhaps it was at one of these events that a Redditor's friend caught this frightening footage. As the friend wanders around the mansion in the short clip, You can see odd moving shapes throughout, but the scariest appears at the end. A dark figure lurks in the bright light of the window, materializing out of thin air. It then disappears when the camera pans back around again. According to the Redditor, his friend didn't see the figure at the time. Redditor Fluffy Socks writes, if you slow it down and look frame by frame, you'll see he's sitting there looking out the window. Gives me a pretty weird feeling, TBH. Do you have that feeling too? I certainly do. I've got a challenge for you. Since you've made it this far, why not just 5 seconds curious about what I look like? Dylan is chillin' YT and tap that follow button to find out. Number 1. Phantom. Surveillance cameras sometimes capture images you just can't handle.
I saw this one too.
Posted by one Dante1 to the Sir Spook subreddit. You might want to stay inside at night after watching this clip. Dante explains that they put out trail cams because they lost their cat. While they were working out in the garage at night, they set off their motion detector and, a moment later, caught this on camera. The clip plainly shows the men working in the light of the garage. Night has fallen, and the rest of the scene is quite dark. That is, until a phantom spirit drifts into view. The vapor-like phantom has a human figure and flies in from the top right of the screen. In fact, it appears as though the figure strolls right into the frame. MuggleMad32 writes, this is a really good capture of an apparition, while Explore with Sunny adds that it's pretty unexplainable. Is it truly unexplainable? If so, do you hold the key to the explanation? Unfortunately, this clip isn't longer, or we may have seen where this phantom is off to. Let's hope he didn't do anything to that poor cat. Thanks for checking out.
Yeah, because the cat is definitely the priority there to be concerned with. Not their lives, but the cat. And I did not have the display on. What is wrong with me? Every stream, I somehow always screw up every stream. I don't know what it is. I'm not watching those videos again because you know, if you want to see this video, I will leave a special link in the description down below to this particular video. Okay, so that one's done. Next up, we got one from King Frostmere, exploring scary videos I have never seen, number 3. Then we finish it off with Chill's 5 scary videos not to watch before bed. Okay. Now, display is on. It is on.
Hello guys, today we want to take a look at some more scary videos that I have never seen before and that have been sent in by you guys. And I want to share my live reactions again. If you would like to see more, please leave a like and tell me your favorite clip today. Now let's buckle up and stay frosty. This video has been recorded by a channel called Urban Decay. They go on by saying, shadow figure captured during Urban Explore. So we were urban exploring an old youth offender's prison. Looking back at the footage, we appear to have captured a shadow figure behind the door. As I always say, you never know what you come across on one of those explorations. Let's take a second look at that.
Okay.
like a person in some kind of black cloth, like maybe like that. Really curious. You guys think this is just staged? Maybe a homeless person.
Well, it could be staged.
Maybe something paranormal. Unsettling. Unsettling.
It's a good start. Good start for sure.
Alright, this video is one of my favorites today. It has been posted by Leola Kala213 and it says, child ghost seen on Snapchat story, a little backstory. I saw this on my story that two friends made. They were exploring their childhood school when all of a sudden the street light turns off. It seemed normal at first, but it was just foreshadowing what was about to happen. Just listen in. Apparently they came across a ghost child. What they have to say.
We're getting the
and it seems to be pretty recent since it has been captured during the epidemic.
I'm out. This is freaking me right in front of my lens. Dude, I'm actually freaking out. Dude, I'm gonna... Dude, it gets more...
That thing looks like it's making white eyes like this. That's what's meant to do. Look at it.
What the? Every time I move closer, it looks more in like a figurine. I did not see that moving past.
That is creepy.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm actually gonna leave that alone.
I would be unsettled by that too. And now it seems to be gone, but there was a cut in between. So we can't really say what happened. So this has been shared on Snapchat's story, I suppose, which means it wasn't necessarily prepared to be on YouTube or anything, or to be shared with a broader audience, but look at that. This is terrifying.
It is good. Whew.
As I was saying, it has Dear David vibes, which was featuring the ghost of a little boy as well.
Yes! Dear David. That's very similar to Dear David.
What do you guys think? Is this just a film project?
I don't know what this is. It's creepy though.
This is one of the most terrifying things I have seen this month. Just a little ghost boy standing in the distance looking at you. The sad thing is, you would probably never know what it wants from you. I don't think it would just do that to creep you out. Whatever the reason for that, it is nightmarish. Hey guys, if you wish to support me to enjoy many more videos, please consider becoming a member and joining my channel. Query and Dan Fowler. This is a dashcam recording of another possible time traveler. Take a closer look to how the truck is just avoiding something. This person appears out of thin air. Let's take another look at that. See how he's trying to avoid an object, and then for some reason underneath the truck there appears this woman. don't know what the
And
truck
I
saw.
see.
But the driver seemed to have seen something.
I've seen this clip before,
object like that.
and
It's pretty hard to make out.
I've seen this clip before, and I still just can't really get through
What
it.
do you guys think? Is this just a nice CGI trick? Or somebody traveling in time? This is a pretty cool recording. It's called Ghost at the Crescent Hotel at the back of the hall. It has been shot by photo, and the footage has been stabilized. Apparently, you can see it appears to be a semi-transparent figure walking at the end of the hallway. And they, of course, as that mostly goes, were saying that at the time nobody was there with them.
Oh, okay, I
and that
saw.
this hotel was known for ghost captures and strange noises at night.
I didn't see that first.
And this to me looks pretty odd. I don't even know, can you make out an upper body? Maybe it is just so bright. Yeah, I think this person is wearing a dark shirt of some sort. I don't know what you guys think. This video is called Fishing Trip, and it has been uploaded by a user called Bean Jerky. It says raw footage from a fishing trip, ghost in the water. And
oh, I remember
it
this
says
clip
that
too.
it was only him and a friend who were going fishing at night. But apparently we can see something on the water.
Oh, this isn't the same clip I saw.
This must be what he's talking about though. So, and then unfortunately the footage turns blurry, which doesn't help the situation. I don't know what else is going on here. We take his word for it that they were actually alone. There might have been somebody standing on the pier here. Or they were not alone and there was actually another friend.
That's possible. But if that was the case, why would we just see them so briefly like that?
Just a friend?
If that was the case, though, why would we see them so briefly like that and then they just disappear? You know, they're not seen again, even with all the cars with their headlights driving by.
Something paranormal, perhaps. This is a recording from a rabbit ghost hunter. Unfortunately, it didn't say where it exactly came from. But it could come across a shadow figure, as we just have seen. And paranormal activities unfolding.
If that's fake, they put effort into this one. They put a lot of effort into this one.
And the fire is traveling upwards, downwards. It's pretty interesting. Is this possible? Like by normal means?
That's what I'm saying.
The figure itself could have been a person.
I mean, it is possible to fake that, but they would have to go through a lot of effort just to make sure the timing was spot on. It's possible. That's why I'm saying if this is faked, then bravo.
In a black outfit. or something gin-like. Something got thrown. And poltergeist activity starts to unfold as well. We hear a lot of doors slamming. So much going on. One good thing that has to be said, if this is staged, the actors don't have to learn too much text. Fire is slowly extinguishing. You still hear the man screaming from the top of his lungs. The question must be asked though, this would unfold in front of you? Wouldn't you make it out of there as soon as possible? Like I would have my pants, and I would have made it out of there at this point.
I probably would have ran too, but at the same time, you got to think about it from his perspective. You know, this guy wants to get everything possible. Just he can show people that he's not crazy, that he's seeing these things happen in front of him.
Because if it can open and close doors, this might be gin activity. It's hard to say. I just see pixels. What do you guys think? Tough to pinpoint it all down.
It's either a very violent haunting or a well thought out, well timed, well executed hoax.
It's another fire? Used to be disappearing underneath the door. You know, if that place is abandoned, it doesn't look like it, does it? With the blurry footage, guys. I wish I could show you. Do anything. See several doors closing? What is that? Something in the doorway? Thank you guys for watching.
Wow, that was creepy. Alright guys, we're down to the last one. 5 scary videos not to watch before bed. And ironically, I'm going to be going to bed right after I watch this video. Okay, here we go.
These 5 scary videos are not to be watched before bed unless you want to have a nightmare. Number 5. Todd Walker of a ghost hunting channel called Holy Walkers has seen a lot over the years, but things get personal when something follows him from an investigation back to his home. On April 5th of 2019, he captured the first signs of it on camera. He even uses a second camera to show that there were no strings. I don't see any in either shot, but maybe they were erased using special effects. The cabinet moves a little more before the refrigerator flings open by itself. and you can't see very much, but the second camera just barely manages to show that there's absolutely no reflection before the fridge opens. In other words, nobody was standing there. Many more events happen over the next 5 days. Lampshades shake without being touched, doors shut on their own, and a shadow passes over the bottom of the steps. All of these could have been done using trick photography, so let's take a closer look. This lampshade looks like it moves on its own to me, and you can even hear a noise as something touches it while passing by 2 times. But at the same time, all the other objects are conveniently on the left side of the screen and partially concealed, which would make moving them easy. Todd could have pushed the couch here at 3 minutes and 8 seconds and pushed it back at 3 minutes and 20 seconds by himself. Likewise, the book that falls at 3 minutes and 45 seconds could have been pushed off camera, and someone could just be grabbing the corner of the lamp at 3 minutes and 54 seconds while hiding behind the couch. The same goes for when it flips over at 4 minutes and 6 seconds. But look what's on the wall when it falls. That looks like a shadow person to me, and I don't see what else could be causing it to form there. A spirit is possibly bending the light to get noticed. But when the light goes out 8 seconds later, Todd could have simply unplugged it from the wall, so maybe it's not real. The other couch moves at 4 minutes and 49 seconds, but Todd could have crawled behind that one. I would have liked to have seen both couches move at the same time because it wouldn't be possible for one person to move them simultaneously. Around this time is when Todd's son Kyle emerges from his room and possibly starts sleepwalking, except for 2 things. 1, this strange shadow passes by where he just was, though it could be light from another room switching on and off. 2, it's followed by a loud crash that somehow doesn't wake him up. Which makes me think he's either faking all of this or in a deep trance as he stands at the top of the steps and stares directly at the camera. Could this be a setup for a dramatic effect, or is this the spirit's way of letting Todd know that it's aware of being watched? Kyle looks like he's going to fall forward, but at the last moment something pushes him back and guides him into his room, almost like it's not time for that to happen yet, but possibly foreshadowing that he could be thrown down the steps in the near future if the spirit so desires. Nothing else happens for a while until 4 days later when their camera records this ball mysteriously rolling down the hallway. They claim not to have done it themselves, but I'm surprised they don't have a second angle to show it really wasn't them. So I think this could have been their doing after all, but probably not considering what happens next. Todd feels the paranormal energy growing stronger, so he decides to explore his house late at night while everyone else is asleep. He picks up more indicators that the spirit of a child is near, one who might have met a particularly gruesome end. I think this could be Todd wheezing, but many people say it sounds like a girl screaming from outside. What do you hear?
What's that?
The fact that he hears it too kind of proves it was a ghost. He goes outside and this time I definitely hear it again.
Not necessarily. You know, a lot of times, you know, I'll wheeze every once in a while and all that, and think it's something else coming from somewhere else. You know, because you know it doesn't happen often, so I don't immediately jump to the conclusion that it was me wheezing.
Much clearer.
Is there anyone out here?
It got green.
And again, he hears it too, so I guess this is real after all. Whenever Todd tells the ghost to speak, he seems to get an answer. Back in the living room, he hears an eerie chant that I can't get out of my mind. Many others in the comments hear it too. Do you?
Make yourself known. Oh dude, I swear someone just came from back here. What was that?
This was the same area where the couches and lamps were moving, so I'm not surprised. Meanwhile, this paper towel roll is on its side at 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and yet, At 14 minutes and 30 seconds, it's mysteriously standing up, and at no point do we see Todd stop to do this by himself. And besides that, I kind of see a little girl's face in the door that soon disappears. And when he tells the girl to speak to him directly, the child's voice gets really deep and scary.
Back, I'll be able to hear you. Is there anything that you want to say?
That's not him because he's exhaling when the voice happens. Hopefully the little girl ghost doesn't stay for long, and more importantly, whatever took her life didn't follow. But since Kyle almost got thrown down the steps, I think we all know something else is with them. Number 4. Mr. Hearth is the name of a YouTuber who isn't afraid to take on the most haunted places in all of Egypt. This time he goes to the abandoned house of a person who used to practice black magic until it claimed their life. Now they are doomed to forever remain trapped in this abandoned home. Digging amongst the rubble is a wild animal that appears to pay no attention to Mr. Hearth, which in his culture is a sign that it could be a demon in disguise. It walks behind something and vanishes. I noticed this room has more tape than anyone would normally need, though what he needed it for was anyone's guess. Tell me what Mr. Marth is saying here.
أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أنتم الله القوي وأنتم الضعفاء.
It becomes clear that something is following him, often hiding in the room he was just in.
الله القوي وأنتم الضعفاء. لا إله إلا الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Some of what happens looks like he could be doing it himself.
صوت تسكين. بسم الله.
I think he kicked the box in the air when he was turning around, and he almost definitely does it again here.
مات من شر ما خلق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
But some encounters would have required a second person to pull it off, and it looks like to me that he's all alone.
بسم الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شو؟ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
No one is in this small room, and yet 15 seconds later the door opens all by itself. Either one of his friends is off camera doing this on purpose to make the video scarier, or the spirit is seemingly playing with his mind, reopening every door that he passes through. Most of the time the sounds are too far away to be coming from where he's standing.
Hey Mela, please go over to mommy. Mela, please go back over to mommy.
Smart move.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
And some things happen out of his reach with no one around at all.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله القوي وأنتم الضعفاء. بسم الله.
Look at the window again. This is clear, close up, and there's no string. And I guess this could have been done with string, but the way it returns to the open position is odd. So I thought Mr. Hearth could be doing this himself, but the deeper he goes, the more I question what I said before. This door moves by itself and there's absolutely nobody on the other side. There's no room for anybody to have been standing behind it either, and there's no editing cuts as he checks for himself. Maybe he kicked it himself, but he definitely doesn't kick it here a couple minutes later.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
This is the same door, and it just opens. On the table, he finds these mysterious cards filled with information. Someone translate this if possible. Maybe we can figure out what this person who was living here was up to. Objects on the ground move without being touched as the house swells with an intense negative force. Something is near, different than the other spirits, angrier and more hopeless. A feral cat watches with interest as he passes, not bothering to run even when he shines the light directly on it. Odd behavior for a wild animal with no trust of humans, and a possible indication that this could be a jinn. It only stands there when asked if it's a jinn, and refuses to be shooed away.
أنت جن؟ انت جن؟ تعال.
And the other eyes are watching as well. They all seem to be hiding from something besides him. Mr. Harth senses he should leave soon and takes one last look around. At 11:37, you can see the corner of his room is empty except for some trash. But when he does a final pass less than a minute later, this is in the corner with him. A figure in all black robes stands motionless, not even acknowledging him. Maybe it's one of his friends, or maybe it's the old owner himself, back again with one last curse up his sleeve to cast on us all. Number 3. Mark Abel has dedicated himself to uncovering a hidden cryptid race that lives just outside our civilization. They are watching him always, giant beings who usually manage to stay out of sight while leaving behind plenty of signs for him to come across in the Colorado forest, and he's not the only one who knows of them. Nearly 50,000 subscribers are interested in Mark's findings, many of whom are cryptid hunters themselves with their own similar experiences to share, stories of the same forest monster that Mark himself has video evidence of. But before I show you what this cryptid looks like, let me show you what it's capable of.
This place has just been so... I've never seen anywhere like this before.
Mark obviously is not strong enough to bend these trees, but something else is, and when they aren't grabbing the tops of trees and pulling down, then they're usually carefully arranging them in these weird X formations, or stacking trees whole to form primitive fences, presumably to keep Mark from finding something they don't want him to see. Mark is extremely familiar with the backwoods of Colorado. He knows that sometimes trees can fall against each other and form an X, but that rarely happens, and seeing this formation repeat so many times is just not natural. He believes he has developed a connection with them over the years and knows when they are near.
So if there's a whole bunch of them over there, and I'm walking, or whatever, there's something over there that I'm gonna walk towards.
And when they're close, he instinctively looks left, barely missing one as they duck behind a tree.
And
he lets the woods guide him to another strange clearing, an area that looks unlike any other part of the forest he's ever seen. Trees are unnaturally bent, and more tribal structures are in the center, as if someone has broken apart and carefully stacked these trees on their own, again forming signature triangles and an X in the middle. In the distance is another tree pile that he feels is holding secrets of some kind.
There's something so going on right there.
When he gets there, he finds 2 more signs right across from each other, followed by a third. At the end of the path of matted grass, he finds this assortment of sturdy sticks that he thinks could have been a seat for one of the younger ones. He eventually comes across a cave and gets the feeling of being watched. The cave splits into 2 smaller paths, and one of them continues to the right. At 4 minutes and 18 seconds, this humanoid shadow shrinks away from his light no less than 2 times. He thinks this is the main chamber and looks for a reason to go further, missing another shadow at 4 minutes and 53 seconds. Mark is looking at every last cave opening and zooms in on some bedding that must have been dragged in by a creature. As he does so, he misses a face that he doesn't see until later. It looks like it could be a rock, but it has 2 white eyes, possibly one of their young hiding from the camera. And outside the cave, he finds more bent trees that I agree have to have been pulled down. There's no reason for them to be growing at this strange angle. Mark returns to the cave next year, only to find a giant footprint in the snow outside. Whatever lives inside this cave has completely rearranged it. The opening where he saw the face is now blocked off, and when he looks inside, I see brief movements from within. Right around where he saw the face last year, he now finds these remains. Could this be the same younger specimen? And if not, then what is it? And what brought it down here? Much of the cave is now rearranged and blocked off in a way that's not a landslide. These stones put up to block the entrance are thin and stacked by hand. This time he finds a larger cavern that goes deep under the mountain. He finds a stick here that was either placed there by him, which I doubt, or brought in by something from outside. While zooming in on the mountain itself, he catches this ape-like figure not far away that appears to have white fur. It's bent at the knee and could be going down the mountain. It has to be easily twice the size of a person to be visible from this great of a distance, and when Mark thinks he hears one from behind, it looks like he could be right.
Whoa. Ben, I gotta go.
Number 2. Before I show you what's in this box, I want to make it clear that I'm not to be held responsible for anything that happens to you as a result of looking at it. Okay, with that said, I was wondering if looking at this doll makes you feel different. A note from its previous owners says the doll has been known to cause terrible headaches as well as inescapable sadness that makes you wish your life would end. Trying to ignore its effects simply makes it worse. The doll has no name, or maybe its previous owners were too afraid to say it. Anyway, if you're wondering how a doll could possibly give you a headache, this is how. One day it makes a high-pitched squeal and moves. I think I may have gotten a headache from this that lasted for days, but I want to know what you experienced, if anything. Anyway, the camera person sounds a little saddish.
I just feel a little uncomfortable because it's so creepy looking.
She explains she won't be having a live stream with the doll tonight. Perhaps her mood is already being affected.
Hey guys, just a quick video. We're not going live tonight because we're out on an investigation tomorrow.
And the doll's arm moves ever so slightly when she says this, but that's not all. She's deep asleep in her room full of creepy dolls at 5 in the morning when this happens. The baby's carriage moves on its own. Inside it is not the same doll as before, but look who's watching over them when it happens. Who else but her most recent addition, the unnamed doll itself. And this piece of paper in front of the doll also moves at the same time. I think whatever is attached to this doll has telekinetic properties, which would explain how the doll was able to move days earlier. It wasn't moving by itself, it was being moved by the spirit attacked days earlier. It wasn't moving by itself, it was being moved by the spirit moved days earlier. It wasn't moving by itself, it was
okay, never mind. I thought I saw the doll move its head,
being moved by the spirit attached. And look at the way these wheels wobble as the carriage moves. It looks like somebody's steering from behind rather than pulling it on a string. It's been over 2 months since the last video was posted. Maybe nothing has happened since then, or maybe so much has happened that the uploader got rid of the doll and no longer wants to remember this part of their life. I've got a challenge for you. Go what chills and tap that follow button dedicated to and out. Number 1. Project Unity is an underground network dedicated to shedding light on the craziest unidentified anomalies ever caught in the sky. Here's what they found so far. On March 11th of 2020, this giant ball of orange light was seen hovering above the beaches of Carpinteria, California. It flashes yellow and orange and appears to contain a host of unexplained activity within it. It looks highly similar to a sighting on March 3rd of 2015 when this solid ball of light was spotted over Houston, Texas. This time they zoom in to reveal changing lights clustered together, almost like a galaxy, which then spread to form an oval formation that doesn't move. This requires a high-powered camera to see. Without it, it looks just like a white sphere with no details, possibly a cloaking device. Is this what they would see again over California years later? On March 24th of 2019, the same glowing ball of light was spotted high above Manosque, France. I feel like we see it move a great distance in a short period of time, perhaps even light years, gradually fading away like a star. It also resembles a sighting over Cuba in 2019, in which case a bright ball of light reveals working mechanical parts when zoomed in. Again, nothing is revealed until the camera zooms all the way in, almost like it's a cloaking device that we're seeing past. The bright nucleus could be atomic energy. And finally, the same flying orb was apparently sighted over Russia in 2019. It's an intense white, much like the Houston sighting, bright enough to cast a halo across the clouds, and then it fades in intensity much like the others. The camera person doesn't zoom in, so we never do get to see if it has more strange activity going on inside, but if it's anything like the other sightings, then that's probably a given. So most of these sightings happen during the month of March, which could be a clue. The others may have happened in March, but the dates have not been confirmed. I really doubt all of these people knew each other, so for all of them to fake a video showing a bright orb that hovers in the air seems fairly unlikely. These are the kind of similarities that Project Unity is hoping to highlight. If it weren't for them, we might never have realized the same orb has been sighted for years across the world. It could be special effects, it could be an advanced drone, or it could be what we've suspected all along.
Nobody on this list knew they were going to see some of the scariest things ever caught on camera with their drone.
Oh wow, okay. That's that one, guys. This has been interesting for sure. Wow. Let me turn off display here. Alright, I want to thank you all so much for joining me on this crazy adventure. Those were some good ones tonight. Those were some good ones. I'm going to lay down and go to bed because I am uncomfortable. But yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more. I do these every weekend and I enjoy it, so let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next stream. And then I'll have some other Dead by Daylight videos uploaded. So until then, peace out.